Hey guys, welcome to Tech Vitals. Today we are going to learn how to get the input in our program. In our lesson so far, we have just defined a variable to store the value. So let's say to store a value of name, we just define the variable called name and we just store value inside that name. Or to store the age, we just define some variable. So let's say age and we give the value or we store the value in that variable. So we are just defining the values in our program itself, but let's say we created a Python project and we want the customers or the users of that project to define their own value for different variables. So that's what we are going to learn in this lesson. So instead of defining these values by ourselves, we will let the users to provide the values. So to do that, we use the keyword input. So let's say name equals, now instead of writing the value, we say input and let's say enter your name, and then we will print this name. So if I run this code, it will ask me to enter your name because we use this input function. So here we can just give, or we can just type anything. So let's type John, and now if I press enter, now it prints John because we are printing that variable. So let's make it more understandable. So let's print your name is, and then we will print the name. So let's try to run this again, and this time let's give some different name. So let's give James. So after I press the enter, it's printing your name is James. So we just made this name variable dynamic because when we give this name as Paul, so the value of name will always be Paul. We can never change that, but since we are getting the input from the users, now whatever name the user gives will be the value of this name variable. So now the name is dynamic variable. So we can just give any name we want. Let's say Anthony, and now it will take Anthony as the name. Now let's do the same thing for age as well. So let's say input enter your age, and we will print your name is name and your age is age. So let's try to run this again. So first we will give the name, so let's give Paul, and then it will ask for the age, so let's give 25, and now it's printing your name is Paul, your age is 25. But here something is wrong. That is, for this name variable we want to store a string value because name is a string, but for this age variable we want to store a integer value because age has to be the integer. But when we give 25 in this age variable, it is taking that 25 as a string value. So if we try to print type name and also type age, and let's run it again. So let's give the same value Paul and 25. As you can see, the type of name is also string and the type of age is also string, but we want this age to be a integer value, and to do that we can simply use the int function and wrap all this input function inside this int function. So now when we run the code, and let's give the same values again, Paul and 25, and now you can see the type of age is integer. So the point to be noted is that this input function will always take the string value. So if you want to input some different values other than the string, we have to convert this input with that specific data type. So let's say we define one more variable, salary. Now the salary may include some decimal point values as well. So instead of using int, we can just use float, then input, enter your salary, and we can print name equals name, age equals age, and then salary equals salary. And in the next line we can also print the type of those variables. So type name, type age, and type salary. So let's run this. Okay, so name, let's give James, age, let's give 30, and salary, let's give a decimal point values. So let's say 30,000.567. Let's press the enter, and as you can see, name equals James, age equals 30, and salary equals this decimal point value. And the type of this name is string, the type of this age is integer, and the data type of this salary is float. Okay, so that's how we can take the input from the users in our Python program by simply using the input function. And this input function always takes the string value. So if you want a different value other than the string, you can always convert that using the function that defines your preferred data type. So that's really simple, and that's gonna do it for this video. I'll see you soon with the next video. Till then, keep learning. Goodbye.